It's interesting how collective and connected, they're words that are similar words in one
Yes.
way, and we are becoming more and more connected
Yes.
as a human species through the internet and travel and information and everything else. We know so much more, so the potential for being more connected
Mm-hmm.
as a collective is there.
Yes, yes, and it's that connection, I think, which is fueling the collectivity. And that's what my book, The Global Brain, was all about. I wrote that back before the internet even existed. But just seeing, because I was involved in computers for a while, just seeing the connectivity that computers were going to bring to people was so parallel to the way nerve cells link up in the brain. I saw we were going to be creating a global brain, which was going to be the linking of all the minds of humanity into a collective system. And we are moving there faster and faster and faster. I mean, the World Wide Web was a big step in that direction. And now the whole cloud computing thing is moving that direction. And who knows what the leading edge is going to be in 5 or 10 years' time. But I think that technology is going to take us into a whole new degree of collectivity, which we can't imagine. I mean, the one thing I've learned in all of this is not to predict the future, because we're always wrong.
Yeah, I think that's been proved many times. Yeah. I'm just thinking that you told me earlier that something that really influenced you was when you read about the Gaia theory the first time, James Lovelock's Gaia theory. And of course that again is very much about the global brain, isn't it?
Well, that's what triggered me really with the global brain. James Lovelock, this was back in the mid-70s, late 70s, and the Gaia theory, which is now very well known, he was basically saying the only way we can understand all the Earth's biosystem is to think of the totality of the biosystem, all the living systems of the oceans, the atmosphere, and the soil, is functioning like one single self-regulating being. And he was producing a lot of evidence to support this. And so I was asking, well, okay, well, if that's the case, what is humanity doing here? Because you can say, like, the oceans are like the blood, the circulatory systems, the rainforests are like the lungs, exchanging oxygen. And you can almost see, individual species or individual systems perform a function in this global organism. And I said, well, what is humanity doing here? Because we're relatively new, just a few million years. Rainforests have been around a lot longer, the oceans much longer. What is it we're doing here? And I asked, what is it we're good at? And it's what human beings are good at is information processing. We have language, we can share ideas, we can learn, and we can share that across the planet. And I thought, that made me think we are like the nerve cells of the planet. We're like the individual nerve cells. And then I realized what happens in an individual when you are growing in the womb. There's this, early on, about 3 months after you're conceived, there's this flurry of growth of nerve cells, like billions, millions being created by the second. But they're not connected. And then as the brain evolves after you're born, what starts happening is those cells all start connecting up. And it's the connectivity between the cells that produces your intelligence. You don't have any more brain cells now than you did before you were born. You had all the cells you were ever going to have, with plus or minus a few, but before you were born. The growth afterwards is not the growth of the number of nerve cells, it's the growth in connectivity. And I realized the number of human beings on the planet is about the same sort of size as the number of cells in our brain. And what we're going through now is not, thankfully, not the further expansion of numbers. That's beginning to slow now. But what we're going through is the connectivity. And we're just seeing the beginning of that. And an average brain cell may communicate directly with 10,000 other neurons. We sort of send emails backwards and forwards or watch things on YouTube or on some social network. But where that's going is going to be unimaginable. We can't imagine the future.
This is so key, this thing about realizing the connectiveness of us all, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not just as human beings, but as a planet.
Yeah.
The key thing is the oneness of creation, the oneness of everything.
Yeah. And I think, for me, the connectivity I'm really interested in, or the oneness, is deep down inside us, we're all the same. I mean, you and I have very different histories, different personalities, different interests. Deep down inside, we all want the same thing. We all want that quality, whether you call it peace, happiness, contentment. We all want to feel okay.
Completion, I call it.
Yeah, yeah. And we all want love. We all want to be loved or to experience love. It's a fundamental thing. And so when we recognize we're already one in that way, everybody I meet, whatever they are, whoever they are, whatever they're doing, ultimately they want exactly what I want.